Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a Monday night matchup here in North American ESL Challenger League. I'm Boggs. I'm joined by Pineapple Phillips, and it's a little bit earlier. We shifted one day early this week, but that actually means we get ourselves a better marquee matchup, Nate. It's a fantastic way to start the week with some good Counter-Strike, and I'm glad to be here. I hope you are too.
I absolutely am. Early start to the week, a little bit less than ideal. Again, it's a Monday blues after all, but we do have an exciting matchup, as you mentioned, a very solid, heavy hitter, star-studded matchup. Nouns versus Wildcard is what we're going to be covering today. And these are two teams that are vying for those top couple spots in playoffs. And speaking of, let's take a look at the standings to see where they currently reside. Nouns is currently at number 2 with 2 fewer matches played than NRG. They have 1 less loss. NRG, of course, are atop the throne with 14 games played, 12-2. Party Astronauts nipping at Nouns' heels at 9-1. And Matey's been getting off to a hot start, 8-0. Wildcard right behind them at 8-2. It's a very contentious top to the standings in ECL NA, Boggs.
It really is, and Nouns have a chance to at least tie NRG today, as I don't believe NRG play. And Wildcard, they're just trying to keep ahead of Boss, ahead of Elevate, which right now it looks like Wildcard are in a good position to do. But you have to beat the teams like Nouns if you are Wildcard to move up the standings. And for Nouns, the same goes for them. Let's look at the schedule for today, though, because there's another game going on as well. M80 and Mythic. That should be a win for M80 in that one. It's on ESL CSD, if memory serves me right, but you're already here. You know where Nouns versus Wildcard is, ESL CSC, but M80 should be getting up to 10-0 to start their season 2, and I don't think that's too much of a surprise given how M80 has performed as of late and given their international experience they've been gathering as well.
No, it was a big question for me if they were going to have the same strides and the same highs given the recent departure of Mobs, for example, but they are still hitting the mark. They're still looking head and shoulders above a majority of their domestic competition. And Matey, as I mentioned, they're not atop the standings right now, but that's only because they have, 3 fewer sets of games played. They're 8-0, literally flawless thus far in the season.
Yep, they haven't lost yet, and I don't think that's going to start tonight. No shade on Mythic, but M80 are just on another level, recently taking down Complexity on LAN, a team that is qualified for the main event at IEM Cologne going on right now. So, you got a lot of stuff happening. There's big international competition. There's big domestic competition. And let's look at the rosters here because, Nate, you and I have not covered Wildcard after their change. They have added a Swedish duo in Susp and Fizzy, so there's going to be a bit of a change here as well as to what this Wildcard team looks like. So, Susp and Fozzy over on Wildcard with the North American trio, or I guess duo of Stanislaw and JBA Sonic from South Africa, but he's been in the North American scene long enough to where he is one of us at this point.
He's naturalized, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah.
He's an American through and through. Susp, and is it Fizzy? I think we were talking about how to Fozzy. There we go. We got the confirmation. We're talking about that in the green room. Fozzy and Susp being the new additions. If memory serves me right, Oso did give us that extra bit of information. One of them has made it to the States and is currently playing in our servers, and I believe it's Susp who's still in EU.
Who's here?
Fozzy's here and Susp isn't. Okay. So yeah, Susp, who still does very well despite the ping, is not in North America. So if we see any kind of ping issues or maybe some stutters here and there, that will definitely explain it.
Yeah, that's something to note too. I mean, when M80 were bringing players in from Germany, they had to play with Sin from Germany for a while. It's some of those pains that you have to go through if you are importing players into North America. The visa process is not easy. So, I mean, for them, they're going to work with what they have. At least they have one of their two players here. They're not playing with two players across the pond. So that makes things a little bit easier. But here's our predictions. And necessarily, I feel, at least with me, I went with Wildcard because I don't know who's going to win this one. And you went with Nouns. So I just picked the other one.
Yeah, I went with Nouns. I do still think that Nouns are good. They don't look quite as hungry or inspired as they did back in the day. I don't even know how long ago it was now when I really saw Nouns at their peak, but they're still very solid. They're just not quite as memorable in my mind. That might be because I don't get to watch them as often because I do have a day job as well. But Nouns still look very good. This roster's been together for a good bit now, and I still think they should have that edge over Wildcard because, like we mentioned, they just added 2 new players into the mix, and one of them is currently not even on our continent to play in this online matchup.
Wildcard have still been having a lot of success domestically, not just in ECL, but also across the multitude of tournaments that have been run lately online. And I think that they still can challenge with Nouns and might even be able to take down the Nouns here. You mentioned you haven't seen Nouns up to that peak they hit, which, I mean, for this Nouns team, they have had players get poached from them so many times. They've made so many roster moves, and they've still maintained a spot towards the top half of North America in the domestic scene. It's been incredibly impressive what they've been able to maintain. Can they take it to the next level, though, is a question that has not been answered with a positive result, as they've kind of just stuck around here, good enough to be towards the top, but never good enough to maintain a spot at the next level. And can they regain that fire? They don't look as hungry. I think it's a great way that you put it, because that does seem to be the case. They don't seem to have that same desire and drive that they once did to dominate domestically and move on to gobble up international competition.
Yeah, now it may be because, of course, even though they have been the same team for a good bit now, they have been making changes. Of course, we saw that long time primary coach of Semphis stepping aside to become an individual talent-based cultivator, not an actual team leader. We do have the bans for map 1 as well. Of course, Nouns being the higher seed, they elect to start as team B. Mirage taken out by Wildcard makes sense. It's their permaban. Anubis does make sense as well for Nouns, and not a map they play too often. They don't necessarily have a permanent ban, but that's definitely not a map they play too often. Vertigo and Nuke, the next 2 out. Dust 2 and Inferno. Of course, Nouns were given the choice between Inferno and Ancient. They went for Ancient in the opener, and that is going to be a very exciting map to start things off on, given both teams' records on it.
It's both teams' most played maps, 15-4 for Nouns, 15-8 for Wildcard, although I think only 6 or 7 of those have actually been played with the new lineup. They have not lost on that map with the new lineup. Their last loss was with their old lineup, and it was to Nouns, but again, it was the old lineup, it was to Nouns. Take that with a grain of salt. A very hefty grain of salt, because the additions of Susp and Fozzie do make a big difference to the overall look of the team and adds a significant amount of firepower and a bit of a different play style as well. You get that European flair, which Nouns do have experience in international competition. And I mean, you look at their roster, you have Rush, Junior, 2 players who've played. I mean, Rush, major winner right there. Junior has spent a lot of time on teams like Furia, so he has a good amount of experience across the pond as well. But you do have that good old-fashioned North American mindset. You got guys like Carson and CJ. George, who's a very supportive player, surprisingly, given how he started out as a very aggressive rifler. He kind of took a huge 180, went to support, but he still pops off when need be. But it's an interesting amalgamation of mindset on Nouns. They might be able to counter the European blood that's been injected into this Wildcard roster.
Yeah, it's going to be a kind of a toss-up in my mind. Nouns have been on this map since the very beginning. Ever since it came out, I remember some of the most characteristic games that come to mind from Nouns being on Ancient. This is a map that they've heavily invested into, and of course, as we mentioned, their record bears it out. 15-4 is the record there. A fair bit more T-sided, but they are very competent on the CT as well. And as you mentioned, in the head-to-head, it has been a tight-knit victory for Nouns, but that was when the old duo was still on the roster, not Fozzie and Sus.
And that's something that will probably be harkening back to throughout the course of this matchup, is the pair that is added in Fozzy and Susp. So we'll hop into Ancient here and get live into the action as we get ready to rumble.
I don't know if we mentioned our player to watch as well.
Oh, yes.
It was Susp.
It was
Susp was our player to watch.
Yes, our
Just
kitty
to make
player
sure
to
we
watch.
get that across the line.
Yep. As we hop in here, it's utility and utility only for Stanislaw. Double Molly, double smoke for Nouns as well. We don't see any raid bosses, Nate. No upgraded pistols. It's stocks across the board. USPs for the CTs, Glocks for the Ts, and a lot of mid control for Wildcard. It's Susp and Sonic to get all of that information and control. And Susp is actually going to get spotted. Does a little bit of chip damage onto George. Sonic will fall away from bottom middle after clearing that out as well. Letting JBA get ready for the take coming through here. A young North American star in JBA, who very easily could have been our player to watch as well. Starts it off with one. Goes back for more, but he's caught from the side. Could not connect on two players exiting through cave. CJ getting that bomb down and beginning that timer. Starts the post plants. No hit from the CT side. And Junior around the edge of the smoke towards long. Sonic with the taps of the smoke, though, catches off Rush. And Fozzy's jumping up, takes down CJ. Junior head on a swivel, 1 and 2. Going back for more. Sonic's got a knife out for the peak. And Junior takes him down as well. Stanislaw into the smoke. Runs into Junior. Knows he's there, but cannot take him down blindly. There's one. No kit again. Molotov not for Carson. This should seal the deal here as it goes on through. Stan now knows where Carson is, but again, no time for the CTs, and Nouns will claim the pistol despite losing all 5.
Yeah, when that Molotov lineup came through, I knew it was curtains. The lack of a kit does indeed come to bite Wildcard. They just weren't quick enough on the take, and the smoke spot more than enough time for Nouns in the post plant. Very well done. I like the fact that Carson played back with the Molotov. You don't have to take the fights if you don't have to, or if you aren't forced to, I should say. 1-0 for Nouns, though. But as you mentioned, an expensive one. Could have gone either direction, especially they just picked up the pace slightly more. Wildcard. 3 MP9s and 2 Deagles. They're going to force into it, the defense. Nouns as well going for, of course, an investment. 2 MAC-10s, an AK, and a pair build. And aggression again for Wildcard, this time towards a main. And the trades work out in their favor in the early goings. 4 versus 3 secure. Junior's on low HP, but it's 3 rifles still standing. And Wildcard, they have been poked and prodded a good amount. Sonic and Stanislaw below 35. JBA's at 76. Still going to be a difficult one for Wildcard to get across the line.
The lack of health on Junior, a major concern for this Nouns roster. Fozzy sitting back temple, trained and ready to go. Let the Deagle rip. As CJ will entry in as that only player on full HP on the T side. The fact that it is a 1 versus 3 hold can get a bomb plant out for Nouns, but the bulk of Wildcard going together up Snake through cave. Wildcard might actually just give... Are they expecting a mid play potentially? Fozzy's going to clear that out. Could be a rotate back to B, but now he's going to realize soon enough that there's people creeping out onto the A side. Nobody's been spotted. He smells a rat, though, and he's getting ready. Into Donut comes Stanislaw as well. Bomb now cannot go down safely, but Stanislaw dealt with succinctly by Rush. This will make things a bit better now into a 3 versus 3 for Nouns. The chaos is still possible with that low HP on Junior. The damage onto Rush. There's possibilities aplenty for the CT retake. JBA coming through. Sprays down CJ. Rush tries to join in, and he will get 1 and damage onto Sonic. Junior again, 3 HP. Rush spots out 1, but he falls as well. Junior's on the flank. Do they expect this? There's no kit for the CT side. This is a possible clutch up for Junior, but he has to get the diffuser here and quickly. Fozzy's looking towards main. Junior into Donut. Fozzy's read it well, but he stops the defuse. Cannot transfer, but he's won it in the end. The lack of time, the lack of a kit again comes back to haunt Wildcard, as at least Fozzy will save an AK. But Nouns, despite losing 10 players in 2 rounds, have 2 rounds on the board.
Rounds continuously come down to the wire. Could go any direction again if Wildcard is just a bit quicker. If Junior doesn't have that heads-up confidence play to go for a long, late flank on 3 HP, the round could end up in a wildly different way. But Nouns, the veterans, get them across the line. Very big heads-up play from Junior to save that one, to bring it back from the brink. Nouns up 2-0. But Wildcard, they're able to invest a little bit due to the kills. A couple deagles, a P250, an AK for Fozzy. You could also drop that deagle over to Stanislav if you wanted to, but it doesn't look like they will. Still a relatively scary round for Nouns to deal with. 1-for-1. Sus trades out Rush. Good kill, but that's the rifle drop. That's the critical factor. The one saved weapon taken out of the round and now in the hands of CJ. Was their main hope they could rally around in round 3. And now it lies in the hands of the enemy.
That's a massive upgrade too for the firepower of Nouns, who have been hurting economically. George, the good little volley play, forces Tonic into the open. Junior and Carson taking kills, and Susp walking down the ramp falls into the same trap. And this is a confident round victory for Nouns. It should be, given the lack of investment from Wildcard. That one rifle saved over, the one kill gained by the CT side. And so, as we get into round number 4, we get our first actual rifle round of this game. And if you could even call it a rifle round, because it's a bit of a bonus for the CT side, as they have 2 MAC-10s and a Galil coming into this. Only Fozzy does not have a helmet, though, so the MAC-10s and the Galil not going to be as strong. The op is out for Fozzy too, and he is on domestic soil now. He's in North America. He is ready to let it rip and take control. A complete abandonment of mid, however, from Wildcard. Could be exploited as Nouns begin to move a few players forward. Still seems to be a B lean, though. A little bit of utility being tossed towards mid and A. Carson just 1G'd. Or did he nade himself? I think he naded himself.
I think it showed a Molotov, but wouldn't it also show a grenade if he naded himself?
Maybe, but I don't see the fire down.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he killed himself. That actually might be it.
No, because his name's... I don't know. We gotta stop pontificating on this. He's still in the server, so he didn't disconnect.
He just
There might
did.
be something we have to ask about. Might be something we have to ask about afterwards, but... Slow start. Nouns got mid control quickly, as you mentioned. It's already been abandoned, though, with Carson falling in towards Donut. Now they're looking to pivot towards B, Nouns, but smokes are in their way. They're forced to just wait and hope for some information, which, of course, will not come through. Wildcard are playing very disciplined. They have full A main control to boot, and 3 on B to rebuke this take. Inks through the wall on the rush, do him in. Sus finds that. CJ a good trade in response, but Sus is ready to swing 1-for-1 back and forth. 3v2, though, nonetheless secured for Wildcard.
Look at the bomb. No time. It's over.
Bomb is outside of B. It's going to be in the hands of JBA here shortly, and that should tell Stanislav to stay tough. No reason to go for it. JBA gets the kill, and that, as you mentioned, seals the round. Fozzy gets the op kill before the timer expires. The Wildcard are on the board with the first rifle round in hand.
I can't say I'm surprised, given how close Wildcard came in the first couple of rounds, that they get this one on the board and decently clean as well. Only lose 2 people. They keep 3 alive. They keep the op alive. It was a relatively stable round from them. And Nouns, a couple of question marks for that T side, and I think the biggest one is the loss of Carson so early on. A technical pause has been called as well, which also draws a couple of questions, but it ends quickly, so we're back into the action. Double Tech 9s for CJ and Rush. And that means it's most likely going to be a fast-ish play, at least at the start from Nouns. Get those Tech 9s into a good area to wreak some havoc.
I guess I go Donut.
Rush,
Donut or go
I think
cave,
Rush is going cave. I'm going to say cave. CJ's just going to toss utility, so I guess not really. I like that mid boost for Fozzy, though. He's going to smoke. That's smoking a little bit to Bloom. He takes a little bit of damage. The sound cue is there. Oh, if he's shot, he doesn't know he's there. But he would on land. He'd hear the noise. Stanislav, meanwhile, blinded, still finishes off Carson and continues his aggression up Snake. And this is where Wildcards seem to be settling into their rhythm, this aggressive style where they just suck the oxygen out of the room, almost reminiscent of M80 on the CT side of Ancient. As they're winning the fights here, Stanislav, another before being traded out by Junior. Now it's just Junior and CJ who is barely leaving T-spawn. Grabs the AK down and at least has an upgrade now. But look at the positioning of Wildcard. So much information. Man advantage. A good amount of utility left as far as nades and flashes are concerned. Nothing to stall, but they don't really need to at this point. Nouns have to make a move.
Sonic, alone in Donut, is trying to spot towards middle and towards A. There could be a timing to exploit here for CJ. He just needs to find it. A little bit of luck.
Good molly.
Molotov will force out Sonic. He'll just stick inside instead. Oh, the shadow betrays him. Now he's known. Throws a flash, takes the fight. CJ, though, dodges it and wins. Junior looking for that probe, finds it immediately, catches out Susp's tendencies, and the advantage has been turned on its head. JBA now is the one on the back foot. 1v2, he's on B. Seems like Nouns already have the information. Quickly rotating towards Donut. They'll go together just in case, and the off chance he's here. Plant will come down in the nick of time. 10 seconds left as they put it to dirt. JBA is rotating in. I don't think he's heard, but he's probably going to be expected at this angle. He's at to win off raw duels alone. Peeking in. Good swing onto the first. Junior dropped back sight, but damage has been done. CJ just needs one or two more bullets to get it across the line. Tap. There is no kit for JBA. CJ's not biting either. Finally walk out on a timing. Narrowly wins it. Nearly got caught by JBA, but still wins the duel in the end. And Nouns continue their tear, isolate that one round for Wildcard, but that was not a cheap victory.
Another one that comes back with Wildcard not having a kit. Another expensive victory for Nouns, but they don't ask how you got the rounds on the board. They just ask how many at the end of the day. And so far, Nouns, they're getting closer and closer to victory, slowly but surely stacking the rounds on the board. It's a full investment from Wildcard, though, and their economy has been shattered. A couple of A1Ss, a pair of MP9s, and a FAMAS. No kit again from the CT side, who seem to have an aversion to buying the diffuser. Have Wildcard had a diffuse kit at all in this game? I don't remember if they had one on the round they won, and it wasn't even relevant as they won via elimination.
They might have had one last round, but it fell over towards B or somewhere else that wasn't really recoverable. Didn't notice. But if JBA forgoes a helmet, or Sus forgoes a helmet, they could afford a kit. So some reprioritization is needed. Stanislaw swinging out again from Cave. He's been a menace in this position. 1 for 1. The issue is his teammates fall without much anything in their favor. 2v4 for Fozzie and Sonic. Sonic's had a slow-ish start, but still plenty of time for him to speed up. He's just playing outside Donut, and no one's really pressuring him. Finally, a late walk in middle. George is here, as is CJ. Sonic knows they could jump up. He wants to kill here. Good spot, well played. Belabored spray, but he doubles down. Resetting the spray and bringing it back to even footing with a massive pair. The final two, Junior and Carson, both lurking up towards B. They need information. They're trying to walk through. They're hoping to find somebody. Of course, we know they're both over towards middle instead and going for a long flank as well.
And it seems Nouns are considering that possibility and are aware of this fact as they've mollied off Cave. They're checking down towards ramp. Both are going to play towards long, it seems, as well, which is an interesting choice. You don't expect the double up here if you're Wildcard. And if Carson can win the first duel, it sets them up marvelously for success, but Fozzie catches timing, and he clears out Junior as well. Trouble for Wildcard on the retake. And Fozzie back in North, or I guess just should say in North America. A couple of quick fights won. But what really turns the tide for Wildcard is Sonic's double out middle. From Donut onto the jump up boxes right there. That duel, the second kill, taking the time to settle back, reset, and go back for the second, not risking the spray. Brilliant work from Sonic. And he had a bit of a slow start. I think he's warmed up now because that was flawless.
A little bit difficult on the first, but not so on the second. Very well done, as you mentioned. It swings that round back into their favor because Wildcard were just stuck in. They were holding their ground, and then unless something came their way, they were probably going to save. 2 versus 4 is not really feasible. The fact that Sonic not only sticks to his guns, but wins it cleanly, brings them a second wind and a second round. Pistols, Tech 9s, P250, some Glocks, and a smoke for CJ. Nouns still have the bomb in spawn. That's Carson. Jumping around? You might not be live. Or they're using this as attack pause. I'm not sure.
They might be using this as attack pause. It would be smart, honestly.
I don't hate it. It's just interesting. You don't see it too often nowadays.
I know it used to be a meta back when Zeus was still IGLing Navi. Just to date myself with that reference.
A very long time ago.
Yeah, like, what, 2016, 2017?
Has it really been 8 years?
Because I think he did that before he went to Gambit and then popularized it at the major when Gambit won, which was 2017, right?
Yeah, I think so. Finally a walk, though. 25 seconds left. It is clearly live, and they are going for a they still play out middle. Sonic overwhelmed in the corner. His bastion spot from the round before unseated now. For the most part, it's a collapse of now. One player left. He's on B. And without the bomb, he's caught running the other direction. But MP9 should be upgraded to that dropped AK. Yes, it is. Stanislav picks that up. Wildcard 1 away from tying this up. Looking quite solid now on their CT side. Keep in mind, both of these teams are slightly T-sided on Ancient. It's a 56.1 for Wildcard and a 61.7 for Nouns. But both teams are very well versed on the map, and it could go either direction. Nouns can compromise this lacking utility on a couple. The Lil for CJ is less than ideal, but it's full rifles. Wildcard, they've learned from their past mistakes and have 4 kits in play along with a plethora of rifles and utility. Everything they could require, and some extra cash in the bank should something go wrong. Aggression up Catwalk, not expecting more than one as JBA. He traded out, and Junior as well trades out Sonic. The issue with Hannibal continuing his press, and Carson is waiting for it. Sus trading it back yet again, but we're only at even footing. This round is still far from over. 2 versus 2. Sus is the one to break the trading game. He's doubling down now, looking for the triple. CJ through the smoke steals that one, but he does not expect Fozzie here. Fozzie has dead to the right. Yes, he does. Wildcard, a quick 4th, but again, expensive round across the board.
Yeah, neither team has had a relatively clean string of victories. It's been very narrow. Nouns had 1 clean one. Wildcard have had 1 clean one. Other than that, it's been very scrappy, very messy. Lots of trades, which do not help Wildcard out on the CD side whatsoever. And Nouns are not going to invest much here. A couple of deagles, 3, 4. It's a full deco, actually. We get a full-on deco. Don't see that all too often anymore. Armor for Junior as well, who's had a very good performance on the rifle, not on the AWP, which is his weapon of choice. Although, domestically, he's always been a very good player. It's just when he has to make the jump across that things begin to be a bit of a struggle for him. But it's good to see him. Yes. So I don't think we'll see an AWP from him at all, but his rifling has been incredible. His pistol work, too, to get them the pistol round, those 3 kills, entering and clearing out the site on the hold.
He started around 9 as well. He still has plenty of time to find even more. Make a statement half of it. Sonic again in Donut. These are stomping grounds. He'll find George. Start things off right for his team. Now they're kind of just slowly prodding around, spamming, hoping to get a kill or at least some damage to make a site take easier. But realistically, they can't hope for more than 1 or 2 kills around like this. Maybe at most a bomb plant. On a full deco, it's an uphill battle through and through.
That's an opener for Carson. Fozzie revealed, but no trade in the vicinity. Rush swings up, meets the same fate as Carson. Sonic, last one, spots the shadow, spots out CJ. Easy kill. First lead for Wildcard here and on the CT side as well. That's quite nice for them, as the guns will come back out for Nouns, who I think at this point are hoping for a 6-6 scoreline, Nate. A 7-5 would be huge. But them winning 3 rounds in a row, not a very likely happenstance. And Wildcard could be knocking down the door of a decent lead. They're able to convert this gun round and force Nouns back to the pistols.
Definitely could. The individuals on Wildcard are heating up as well, but everybody across the board is hitting their shots. Minimum number of kills is 6 on JBA and Stan. Sonic and Fozzie are at 10 a pop. Very good for them. Nouns lose 1 to a nade stack early on from Wildcard, and this fast play out A has already been heard. Stanislav furthering the advantage now of Cat again, getting aggressive as the IGL. 3 versus 5, make it a 3 versus 4. CJ again impeccable on the entries. The question is, can he consolidate this hold on A, or will he be crunched in upon? He'll consolidate it. A second onto JBA, and now things can get interesting. Bomb has to make its way over, but the A site is open for the time being. Stanislaw drops Rush. Fozzy on the op, tested by CJ, finally fells that player. Just Junior on the rifle in a 1 versus 3.
If you can isolate this duel against Fozzy, it makes it a lot more winnable, especially since Stanislaw and Sus are so far away. The smoke is going to give information over. Fozzy tosses flames a bit too late. Junior pushes forward with this. The nade tickles him for 8 damage. And he will know Stanislaw's coming in, at least was coming in towards Donut. Junior, so many angles to be caught from, so many angles to hold. This is not an easy 1 versus 3 for him. Flash goes high. But Wildcard are giving him time, although it is going to make him sweat. Stanislaw ran all the way back into Donut as well. And the first peek actually might have been spotted by Junior. He cannot connect the shots, though. Fozzy swapped over to the AK, goes back and grabs his op. His teammates grab the defuse, and that should set Wildcard up for a lead going into the halftime break here. A couple more rounds to go in the half. The penultimate coming up right now. The bomb plant keeps Nouns on a bye. But these T-side rounds are slipping away. They've only won 1 round. That wasn't by virtue of the pistol round win. And I think this is the exact perfect time to use this timeout.
Yeah, things are beginning to slip away from them. As I said before, both teams are T-sided on this one. So they really want at least 6, as you said. 4 rifles will come through. There'll be decent utility behind it as well. What can they do to stall out Wildcard? Because once Wildcard found their groove, once they got their confidence, it's looked like a very different game with Wildcard head and shoulders ahead of their opponents. Rush. We'll pick up an AK, I'm sure. There we go. George the same. Maybe a Galil instead to prioritize utility. I don't hate it. Fozzy, though, has quietly slipped up to the top of the scoreboard for his team. He's 12-3. He's tied Junior. The 2 offers sitting atop each respective team. And Nouns. Straight play towards B is the name of the game. A boost up for Junior to try and find an opening. Thought they were going to go quicker, but no, they've slowed down. No Molotov, though, allows them to inch forward. Sus, a lot of damage taken, but he still finds the first nonetheless. He needs to be very careful, though, on 1 HP. JBA mollied, but it's too deep. He still gets to survive in the corner. Smoke, though, will make this fight difficult for him. Stanislaw is also here to support in towards Cave. He'll get control there. Nouns will take the site, but it's going to be a contested battle through and through. Carson caught on a timing. It falls to Stanislaw. Junior gets sus. It's chaos at the site as Wildcard continue to pepper. Stanislaw still kicking in towards Cave. Finds 1, finds 2 on the spam. It's just Junior, the hero. The 1v3 attempt last round didn't come through. Will it come through this time around in a 1 versus 4? In the corner, the first secured. A second spotted? No, the spray again too wild. It's JBA to steal the round away and secure a 7th for Wildcard.
And now no bomb plant means a meager investment from Nouns. They'll buy what they can as it's the last of a half. They'll go at it with Galils. An AK for Junior. They needed a hero. The bat signal was not answered, Nate. And now Nouns looking down the barrel of a potential 8-4 deficit going into the CT side. The pistol round becoming more and more important for them. And they're by 3 flashbangs, 2 smokes. And that nade's going to do some chunky... Actually, never mind. It goes a little bit deep, so it doesn't do as much damage as it could have. Rifle of Sonic should be able to mop up some players. Smoke will go down. Junior does open things up onto Susp, giving them at least some sort of solace. But look at the flank from JBA. All the way down through A main. As Nouns mill about up on Snake. Will go into Cave this time. Rotations are here to support B if required. But Nouns are burning clock right now, and they do not have the utility to afford this. 0 flashbangs left, Nate. All the utility they can grab now will come from the fallen bodies of Wildcard players, and JBA's flank has struck for gold. Now Sonic's coming in from middle as well, taking advantage of that space gained by his teammate. He'll come through from behind. They expected nobody there after JBA ran away. And CJ met with a backstab. The B site has to be the target given the clock. Carson walking in. Fozzy spots out Junior on ramp. Carson spotted and removed. George, last man standing, stuck in cave. He'll get one silver lining. A consolation second. Can he find his way out past Fozzy? No. It's an 8-4 half into the break.
Contentious start back and forth ends with a slide towards Wildcard. 8-4 at the end of their CT half. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs bringing the action. And Nouns to call a timeout. It appears to be a technical issue. Nope, we're right back into it. Okay, a very brief pause then. Let's look at the investment for this pistol round. We do have a kit for CJ. Dropping some dualies over to Carson and George, who are both double dually super soldiered up. Smoke and flash on Junior and Rush. Some utility was dropped around, evidently. Wildcard, what do they have? Full Kevlar across the board to counter.
Not a bad idea, although the lack of utility is a bit interesting. But Wildcard don't care about utility, they don't care about societal norms. They're charging all the way up through middle. Susp spots the gun barrel of Rush towards B, and they will swing through CT to try and take out A. CJ and Junior up towards Temple as Stanislav tries to get the bomb down. Fozzy and JBA, 2 kills. CJ a pair as well before JBA can trade him back. Bomb ticking down as that was Stanislav's one and only job plant the bomb, and now he's alive to help hold. George on the retake with dual Berettas. No kit for Nouns. Bomb ticking away, one for Rush. Good trade by Susp, leaving George in a 1v2 retake. Time becoming fleeting, and there's no peeks coming through from Wildcard. Great discipline being shown. Flash goes high. George runs down one, but can he find Susp? His time is up, and Wildcard will grab 9. An all-important pistol round for Nouns goes awry. And Wildcard blocks, armor, run it up middle, and the pistol in their favor.
Pistol's a big one to find at this stage as well, just given how the scoreline was already tipped so heavily in their favor. 10 seems like a guarantee at this point. Nouns, do they want to force into this one now and try to get back on the right track sooner rather than later, gambling potentially an 11th off of it? Or do they save and play down 4-10? It looks like the save is the call. TJ gets a flash. They had those dualies saved from George. Wildcard, though, looking to make this bonus round as strong as possible in future. Go for 4 rifles, 3 Galils and an AK, 1 MAC-10 to harvest a bit. That's for Stanislaw, who's been a very solid individual in this game, in this map. Nobody from Wildcard has been very weak in this one. Meanwhile, Rush and George and Carson, in fact, all 3 kind of been struggling over in the Nouns camp.
Yeah, I mean,
Flash.
only Junior has more than 10 kills. Or double-digit kills, I should say. Because CJ's 1 kill shy as well.
CJ was really good on the openings, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's only he and Junior really doing the lifting. That's not enough. Not against a team as strong and with the depth that Wildcard has.
Yeah, Wildcard have looked really good since adding Fozzie and Susp. They have looked incredible. And I think they're only going to get stronger, especially now that Fozzie is domestic. The Op are now on viable ping. They still don't have Susp, stateside or North America, continental side, just yet. But Susp is still going to deal with the first, unscathed. Sonic there to support him, as it's a bit of a meat grinder for these pistols, as they'll try and hunt. Good nade from Susp. We'll actually finish off George from the grave. Martyrdom unlocked. But CJ and Junior will be forced to back away or take a trip down to Hades. CJ takes the ladder. Junior will also join him on the River Styx. And so only 1 casualty there for Nouns, or Wildcard rather. Stanislaw will stay on the MAC-10 or toss that away. We'll find out what he wants to do into this round. But it's bonus time for the T's. And last-ditch buy time almost for Wildcard. They lose this. Wildcard are 2 away from victory. From victory. And Nouns, they had a 4-1 lead, Nate, at one point in this game. 4-1.
4-1 is now 4-10. It's been a 9-round slide. Really good as well, because that was right after they isolated a 1 rifle round victory for Wildcard. It looked like they finally punished that CT economy. And yet here we are now, trailing by miles. 5v4 secure already with Carson being felled. CJ's on similarly low HP. Not a lot of utility left for this retake, and there's no kit in play either. The odds continuously being stacked against Nouns in this retake, and they're already calling it quits. 3 escaping to B, a 4th in tow. 11-4 secured for Wildcard. Plenty of time for them to get it across the line.
Well, Nate, considering the fact that only one of Wildcard's players uses miles as a unit of measurement, we could say they're ahead by kilometers.
Okay.
It just feels fitting.
I don't like it.
I don't either. I'm as red-blooded American as you'll get, but...
Do they use, like... I guess they do use KPH, though.
Canada uses kilometers and liters for gasoline or petrol.
Well, I was wondering, because I know in Britain, they use miles per hour still. Don't know why.
They'll use miles as an unit of measurement in Britain. It's weird. They'll use pounds as a unit of weight sometimes as well.
Thought they use stones.
I think that's Scotland. Or the Norse. I forget. But, yeah, Canada uses kilometers. South Africa uses kilometers. Sweden.
Everywhere uses kilometers pretty much,
Yeah.
except for
Us. Yeah.
fresh in middle. Once more from Wildcard. Carson trying to fight for it. Gets one. Stanislaw trades via CJ, and he spots a second in towards Donut. Carson, though, still fighting. A hero with the FAMAS finds 3, and Rush has his back for the 4th. Sus, the last alive, and can't find even a first. He does good damage to George, but can't get the kill. It's a quick one for Nouns, and a much-needed one as well. Still find themselves leagues below their opponents, but at least they're finding some inroads. The issue is Wildcard still have money to buy, and we are going to see a T-side op come out from Fozzie to rival the likes of Junior on the defense.
That'll keep Nouns alive for now. They've given themselves a lifeline back into this, but it's still a very difficult route back in to even tie this up. They were down by 7, now down by 6. Winning rounds confidently, not losing a lot of players is critical to their potential success. That's a bit unlucky on timing by George, but Carson deals with Sonic regardless of that fact. As the utility's running dry for the T's. 3 mollies, 2 flashes, no smokes, no nades. A decent amount of hold utility for Nouns still remaining. Junior yet to spot anything with the big green gun, which is over, keeping an eye on middle. A will be the end for Wildcard, but can they end the round in their favor on this site? There's 2 players here, 1 in Donut, 1 back towards CT back boxes. CJ's in a good spot to hold him out and wait for help from George, who has the Molotov. Junior has their mid controlled as well. That's a good spot from CJ on the timing. He'll swing out wide. Fozzie removed. Sus trades, but George still unspotted. Stanislaw's crept into mid, though, and catches them on timing. Can he get all 3? He's got 2. Peeks out to Rush, who takes a lot of damage in that duel. Up to George and Rush now. JBA and Sus. One old head on Wildcard, one of the new kids on the block. And Nouns maybe cutting their losses here, at least debating it. They're going a bit slow. And Sus is going to peek right into the crosshair of Junior. Good start for him, leaving it all up to the young gun in JBA. The bomb not planted for him. Smoke blooms on the site. One spotted, both spotted. Sprays the first, has low ammunition. Buys time for the next. Block is out, spams away, and JBA puts Wildcard on match point.
Massive win defined. The economy for Nouns, though, still good at least. They need to put their foot down, and they need to give up nothing more. 7 in a row required to get them to overtime. And this would be a good time for a tactical timeout to talk things through. Massive clutch from JBA. The Glock no less. Nouns can find this round and prevent a bomb plant. They should have the next as well because of this difficult T economy. That's the only way they can look at it. Take it 1 round at a time because they're so far down that looking at it as a 7-round slide might be overwhelming.
I like the aggressiveness down mid from Nouns, but Wildcard are playing into this. They're waiting for pushes, and they're hoping Nouns will just feed them at this point. And this is making Nouns rethink things. The CT side backing away, regrouping, reassessing the situation. Almost looking scared at this point, since they have seen no hide nor hair of Wildcard, who now walk clean into the B side potentially. Susp is clearing it out. Smoke goes in for short. Complete and total abandonment of the site by the CT side. And now Susp will clear in. Flash blinds him, and George will take advantage of the miscue. But Fozzie here with the op. Bides his time. Great shot onto George. Waits for the wider jiggle. Junior comes in and wins the second fight. Carson there as well. Up to Sonic and JBA. Mainly just JBA as Sonic so far away. He can't really help. Blindside by a Rush. Sonic to stay alive because the defuse is coming through. And Nouns will survive to fight another round. Not necessarily another day, but they're still going to be here alive and kicking for now.
still alive and kicking. They've also bought themselves some time, as I mentioned. The economy of Wildcard not in a good spot. That means that Nouns should get a second off the back of that victory. Although Sonic's AK will still be a thorn in their side, they need to be weary of that. Off of Junior winning the Opera's duel at a critical juncture. Very well done on that duel. George and Rush as well, beginning to wake up slowly but surely. Wildcard, they're actually going to keep on the pressure. They're going to go for an investment. Mac 10s and Tech 9s around the AK, and a no-respect play towards B. Junior's here with Yacht first secured. A lineup for the M4. It's actually 2 for Junior, 2 for George, and 1 for Stanislaw in a rare team kill to give Nouns a flawless round number 19.
A confidence boost, a big confidence boost for Nouns, but it's still a very long way in. No real investment from Wildcard here at Deagle, a P250. Both purchased by Sonic as well. This should be a free, clean round for Nouns, and we'll get them within 4 of overtime. But that's when the next battle really begins. This one, a little break in the action, a little respite. But once the guns come back out for Wildcard, that is when things begin again in earnest for Nouns. A messy duel by Carson actually leads to his demise. That is an unfortunate duel. And opens up a little bit of space for Wildcard to exploit. Another kill here can snowball things out of control. It's a good read by Rush. Succinct kill. Wildcard now hemorrhaging players. We'll just ambulate around and try to end this one.
They will also, Boggs. I've been corrected. It is Fozy.
Fozy, okay.
Not Fozzy, Fozy.
Long O, got it.
Stanislaw up ramp only with the Glock, though. Wouldn't be difficult in any scenario. Distraction by Sonic, though, could give him an opening, but again, Rush is quick on these kills. Stanislaw alone up here with the bomb now as his teammate falls back towards Cave. 30 seconds left, not much time left for them in this one. Should be a quick mop-up of these 2 Rush spots. 1, there's the kill. Second in, Cave spotted, and George makes it clean on the spray. 8 to 12, 4 more required now to get them to overtime. Just under halfway on the comeback. It's going to get harder now. Again, Wildcard have rifles in hand. A Galil for sus, but AKs otherwise, and good utility to boot.
Nouns gaining more and more momentum, but any little slip-up can cost them their hopes and dreams in this map. Nades don't do too much on the Stanislaw. They take him down a quarter of his health as now they're going to push forward. They'll take out Sus. They don't know Stanislaw's right here around. Good read by George, but he cannot finish the job. Rush is still out towards Snake, and Stanislaw finds him around, but he cannot take down his former teammate on Optic. Fozy waiting for a push down B doors. That will not come just yet. Sonic. What a duel on Junior. Not ready for that at all. Traded out by Carson. The EV2 advantage for Nouns. But Fozy and JBA, 2 solid fraggers, trying to bring this back and finish this match off in their favor. Minute to go on the clock. Bomb not in the possession of the T side. Something we saw Nouns do a couple of times, once to their detriment. Slow and steady round. After the mid shenanigans. And a B end on the cards. Only a smoke for Fozy. Pair of Molotovs or incendiaries, a pair of flashbangs, and a nade for Nouns. And that's smoke. Well timed as Fozy begins to work up Cave. He'll pop through, though not expected. JBA spots and removes Rush. Now the op of Carson has to play a huge role in this round. Timing. What a read by Fozy. Here's the footstep of CJ. That's a free 1 and 2 for Fozy to put Nouns to bed. And the import first game in the North American continent. It's Wildcard their first win against Nouns with this 5U Swedish duo. Wasn't clean at the end there, Nate, but it started out quite nice with that T side or that CT side.
Yeah, began to slide a little bit with Nouns coming alive at a critical juncture, but it was too little too late for them. They brought it back to 12-8, but then just a little bit of extra individual prowess shining through on the side of Wildcard gets them across that line. Nouns were too slow to activate, and of course we do have our Kithia player to watch. It's Susp, man, you highlighted a bit of a slow map. Again, as we mentioned in the pregame, he is still in Europe. That means he's going to have a very high ping. He's going to struggle, but he still did a more than serviceable job for his team on this map.
Yeah, good utility, good decision-making in his duels, playing probably a little bit differently than he would otherwise if he was on a more normal ping set. But Wildcard able to take down 8 Nouns on Ancient. One more best of one coming up between these two teams, though, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit to see if Nouns can recover and take this one and split it 1-1, or if Wildcard can really establish themselves with this new pair and go 2-0.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with the second best of one on the evening between Nouns and Wildcard, coming hot off the heels of that first. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs to bring you the action. And Boggs, Wildcard made a statement with a 13-8 victory to open up the night on Ancient.
They really did. It probably could have been a lot cleaner as well for Wildcard. A bit of a slip up towards the end. Nouns gained some momentum and clawed it back, but Wildcard looked to be head and shoulders above Nouns almost from the interim. Lack of a kit cost Wildcard a couple of times early on their CT side. It could have even been a 10-2, 11-1 half if they did have those diffuse kits. So a couple of things that made it a little closer for Nouns. But overall, Wildcard looked incredibly good. Nouns a little bit shaky and almost looked to be very scared in a lot of situations as they were cowering, waiting for Wildcard to come to them, but running away in a lot of situations. And you can't do that if you're going to try to fight on even footing with a team as individually skilled as Wildcard. And as we see, our second map is going to come between Inferno and Dust 2, and Nouns do not like Inferno very much, so they're going to go to Dust 2. I don't know if it's going to go much better for them. Another thing we didn't get to see much of, Nate, was Junior on the op. We saw him on the rifle. He was great. But Dust 2 is a very op-heavy map, and we got to see Fozy very often and very impactful with the sniper.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that Dust 2 is a very op-centric map where both sides can have it. We saw, as you mentioned, Junior sticking to solely the rifle on the T side of Ancient. That's not going to be the case on Dust 2 unless something goes very wrong with their game plan. I'm interested to see that Opera's head-to-head. Junior and Fozy. Fozy looked very good on that first map, and additionally, he was pulling the op out on the T side as well as the CT side, so a lot of comfort there. And of course, he looked very good. I believe he was the top performer for his team. We are into the action, though, ladies and gentlemen. T side for Nouns. They have sets of utility, 2 sets of utility on George and Rush. I believe an upgrade. Yep, that's for Junior. He has a P250 in hand. Wildcard, not making the same mistakes as before, going for a double flash kit for Stanislaw and Kevlar on the rest.
No need for upgraded pistols on the CT side of Dust 2. The USP is good enough for the long range and good enough for the close range. Good flash by Stanislaw allows JBA to get the first, but he cannot add more to the total. Sonic behind Car will be the next one tested. Molotov to his position. Might not even spread. He's in a very good spot, but he's getting dinked down. They know where he is, and Stanislaw's not able to get him out of dodge. The boost is a great idea, but neither team is actually finding the kill. Sonic on his last round of the magazine, able to drop CJ. He'll pop up for a second and grab a third as Stanislaw helps out with George. And a crazily clean pistol round from Wildcard. Despite a very good read from Nouns, the USPs at range win the day.
I really like the idea from Nouns as well. They got long control and they boosted up to hard clear Car. That's not a spot that I thought they would clear so readily, but they go for it. And I really like the read. The issue is the execution wasn't there. Sonic was able to survive by sticking his head between his legs quite literally. Wildcard, as you mentioned, steal away the pistol rather cleanly. Nouns gonna go for a save for the most part. Junior has a scout, but everybody else is on Glocks. And that scout is already proving to be a worthy investment as Fozy falls on Catwalk. I believe he had a rifle as well. That's a pretty big upgrade if Nouns can make their way up to Catwalk.
Nouns are still top middle. There's a big convergence on Catwalk here from Wildcard. That's a nice little upgrade from Stan. Grabs the M4. That's why they pushed forward. And Stan blocks JBA's exit and says, "Now we're going back, kid. We're going to fight this again." Flash in. And JBA out 1 and 2. Not a second, actually. It's Stan, Susk, and Sonic to get kills. Stanislaw will get the last, so only 1 kill coming through that initial opener onto Fozy. And rifles will be gathered up for Wildcard. They don't lose any of their M4s. They only lose an MP9. That's not bad at all. Fozy will get the A1S back. Stan will probably pick one up of his own. And Nouns will be on the rifles here. A couple of AKs, a couple of Galils, make it 3 AKs and a decent amount of utility with Junior on the scout again. We saw how well he did with that in the last round. Tag in a bag. But they'll need to be a bit better than that as his first shot does not connect. And there's 3 players down bottom middle running up mid. Junior does not connect any of them. Carson around, now a tag from Junior, but he is dropped by Sonic. Carson still around. The bomb is his job now. George trades out Rush for the bomb, the lack thereof, a massive problem. Fozy, blinded but still alive. Susp is here to help him. The Swedish duo looking to lock this down as Carson carrying the bomb, slowly moonwalking away through T-spawn. Maybe hurt by Sonic here, I don't think so. Bomb is going to make its way eventually into B, but the fact there's already 2 players in a third and CT ready to retake the site does not bode well for the Ts.
Nope, and there's still smokes as well to cover off tons or whatever is necessary. George is going to come back and double clear tunnels with Carson, make sure he gets by. Smart call, safe call. It's in a very slow and tentative round from Wildcard once they got control of B. George throwing the smoke for the door. I don't think it's actually come in the door. It will be good enough for the crossing.
There's still no plant.
Finally going to come to Fozy swinging through with the flash, and he runs down one, spots a second, won't get the kill in time, but Suts is there to fill the gap. He finds the first towards tunnels and the second below. Quick one, and again, Nouns not having the bomb and not being quick about getting it over there are caught in motion in their attempt to get the bomb down. They can hardly even cross into the site before they're mowed down.
Too slow and methodical for Nouns. And the fact they almost lost the bomb off that initial mid-scrim does not add any helping factor to that round. Pistols out long. They'll try it this time with Tech 9s, and it works for the opener onto Stanislaw. Good flashes in from CJ. JBA and Fozy now jumping up onto Catwalk. The op will probably watch long. The rifle to Cat. But Nouns have pumped the brakes here, and this is a big reason why. They're expecting aggression from Wildcard here, which is exactly coming through. Carson was playing anti-flash for a bit, but Susp is about to get traded if he even gets one at all. He doesn't even get that. And that opens up the B site. This aggression from Wildcard against the Pistols going against them now as Nouns have 2 rifles in hand. They invested nothing but vests and Tech 9s. And this CT side from Wildcard now in complete and total flux as there's no stability left for it.
Trying to get aggressive again in hopes of finding an opening. Trying to maintain some semblance of map control so they can get some damage in before the bomb goes down. But right now they're being completely sidestepped. It's a straight walk towards long. All the focus from Wildcard is on middle instead. Fozy's going to have to do a lot here from Catwalk if they want a chance in this round. He's going to race to site. Smoke spots a couple. Oh, the timing is awful. Unscopes the second the player walks in. JBA and Sonic are both at B. They're not going to leave this site either. It's going to be a first on the board for Nouns and off of a half buy at that.
Bomb has been planted.
They were gifted this round though, Nouns. Wildcard pushed up, they pushed in, and Nouns just, all they had to do was click ahead here and there. It was a very easy round for Nouns to win. Probably the easiest round they've had to win in a very long time. And Nouns are not going to be mad about that at all. They're going to be very happy with that result. It gets them back on the board. It gives them something to fight with and fight for. For Wildcard, they might have to rethink their over-aggressiveness a little bit. They got overzealous, they got overconfident, and they got punished for it. So, they'll have to go back to the drawing board, play a bit wiser, a bit more strategic with their CT side. They might even still lose a gun here now. They lock down one. At least they don't lose an extra rifle. It's not great that their economy is not stable yet. And Nouns get an absolute gift. The op into Junior's hands for free on Dust 2. It's a huge additive.
Yes, it is. Builds up their economy in a big way as well off the back of the half buy. See, everybody's around 3K or thereabouts. Carson's the only one who's not because he looks like he had to reinvest. Looking at Wildcard, they go for an early tactical pause, though. I like this. Their aggression is finally getting countered. They need an appropriate response, and they know that their backs are against the wall, economically speaking. This is the last time they're going to have an op before they have to recoup their losses should they find more struggles. So Wildcard pulled the trigger early. Smart call. Fozy, another chance with the op. Hopefully he'll have more impact than the round last.
Hopefully for Fozy's sake, it's not another timing issue that drops him, but that was a big boost too for Junior to be able to pick that up on the timing. Now, he'll win the Opera's duel, well, not the Opera's duel, but he'll win the first duel against Susp as the B side now cracked open. Only one defender was there, but Sonic takes down Junior through the B doors. Swap of those doors, now a very old change, helps out Wildcard here to bring it to a 4 versus 4 as Molotov thrown around Sonic. Stanislaw tosses in Molotovs, but George goes high and Fozy goes down. The nade can take down George if it's well placed enough, but it has to be just about perfect. Nade goes in, a third Molotov now used to window. The nade does nothing though. Stanislaw watching his backside, spots his former teammate. And takes down the lurk of Rush. 3v3 hold on B. Another smoke down. Nouns have done a very good job of smoking off the entrance points, keeping them at bay. Now in they drop. Sonic one, JBA another. All up to Carson on the op. Not the best gun to have in the situation. The Glock is out and JBA stabs him down with the AK. And the Nouns round isolated on the T side of Dust 2. Only one op called into the next round by Wildcard. They could have picked up both, but they elect to go with one. At least for Nouns, they get the bomb down. They had all of those guns from the previous round because they won on a half buy. But other than that, their money again on the verge of being shattered. And the B site, weak, Nate, on these holds.
Yeah, I like the idea from Nouns. They try to go for a change of pace off the back of their opponent's tactical timeout, and they get control of B relatively early. Sure, they lose the op eventually on that cross. My biggest concern is the utility for Nouns. Their smokes aren't the best. They don't throw the smoke lineup from tunnels or from T-spawn. And they've just been kind of ad-hocking it, ad-libbing it is the best way to put it. Just chucking it out, and 10 times out of 10 it works in plugs. But they can definitely get caught on a timing there. And as you saw, the first smoke they threw towards the door was too deep. There's a gap with which the CTs could slink in. And that is not something you can afford to have on a B-site take.
Nope. Yeah, losing the Opera there significantly hampers the opportunity for Nouns in that round. And now, utility goes in. The next round begins. Susp may fall victim to the op of Junior again. That smoke should keep him alive for now, and Junior will take the opportunity to back away. Fozy up on catwalk, drops the Molotov, plays the corner. Utility flying forward. Sonic there to support his op. Another flash goes in, and the op from Fozy splits the goalpost. Sonic cannot hit the headshot. Rush wins the duel. And so, man advantage to Nouns again. Can they capitalize upon it, though? Junior out middle. Eats a dink to the wall. Stanislaw wallbanging himself down to all but death. And Carson swinging forward wins that duel. B site open technically, but look where the bomb is and look where Susp is coming from on the mini-map. He'll drop it from behind. And there is still a player at the top middle to worry about. Great little play by Junior to get the bomb back under control, though. Not waiting around for George to get the kill, allowing Susp to grab the AK. Nah, Junior takes matters into his own hands. Now Fozy and JBA. Most likely going to save as Fozy all the way up towards long. Second round on the board for Nouns, and the fourth for Wildcard will now be isolated. A little bit of hope now for the Nouns on this T set of Dust 2.
Good amount of hope, I'd say. That was a convincing round for Survive. Their op is winning the duels. Junior's looking quite good. Fozy's stumbling. Saw him split the goalposts there. He's yet to get the ball rolling for himself. Sonic, again, much like the last map, is on a heater. 8 kills to his name already at the end of round 6. He was dropped in this round without much of anything to show for it because he couldn't hit that headshot, as you mentioned. 2-4. And for surviving means this T-side economy is going to build up and it's going to be very solid going forward. Wildcard. Do they buy around these saved weapons or do they save? The answer's already there. It's going to be an investment. Susp again on the MP9. M4 for Sonic, I believe it was dropped over. Stanislaw as well on an SMG. I want to see some lower tons action perhaps from the CT side. Something to change the pace early.
Yeah, it would be a nice little swap up here, and actually you might get your wish, Nate. Never mind, it's going to be a mid-train again. Worked for Wildcard once, no reason it can't work again, this time bolstered by an off. Carson tries to flash himself in, but he is blinded by Stanislaw instead. Sonic takes the initiative and charges forward. Junior out towards long doors, now as the smoke blooms in his face to allow Sonic to retreat if he desires. Or he can just sit around top middle and be a little bit of a brain worm in the minds of Nouns. And, oh, did CJ not spot the top of the head? I think we got X-rayed there. Flash will at least alert him to the possibility somebody's nearby. But Fozzy's up on the stack. Stanislaw working around the smoke. CJ. As a Molotov stop his advancement, and he'll hold for a push from behind. Will Stanislaw check the ramp, though? It's a huge question. Do you expect CJ at ramp?
I don't think so, because the Molotov normally would be bigger. Normally it would cover for this, but it didn't in this case because of that update. That means CJ has a pretty powerful position if someone chooses to walk in. The issue is no one is. Stanislaw is here. He's still bottom ramp towards CT. Off in the inches for the player. Catwalk. It's JBA. Finds CJ. George crossing in now has to fight a lot of angles, or worry about a lot of angles, I should say. Rush towards car. 30 seconds left. Again, Nouns dawdling on the site. Finally committing to a plant. But rotations have come through in earnest. The MP9 harassing Fozzy. Finally opens up the docket with the yacht finding one. Rush at car. Can't find much of anything. Spraying away at desperation. He'll find nothing. Junior, a trade and nothing more as he's felled in kind by Sonic. Wildcard. They get a quick and convincing retake with 4 surviving.
Indeed, very quick, very convincing. Helped out by that one-op shot by Fozzy. And Rush's inability to connect the headshot up Cat. There's 5 now on the CT side for Wildcard, who leans slightly heavily on the T side. 53.1% to 51.5 on Dust 2. Nouns slightly T-sided as well by, again, about 3%. 59.6 to 56% even on that CT side. But still, if you're Nouns, you have to keep it close. And that's a good tag by Junior, but it doesn't yield a kill. And there needs to be more from Nouns up and down the lineup. Again, it's Junior above everybody else on this Nouns team. Not as impactful as he was on Ancient, but still, dragging this Nouns team forward. He needs somebody to help him out. Meanwhile, Sonic is taking over the server. JBA's been solid. Sus been Stan as well. Fozzy hasn't had too much impact, aside from that one op kill in the round prior. Sonic's having an opportunity to feast again out middle. He knows there's 2, and he holds down mouse 1 for the pair. Great spray control on the second. Got a little bit lucky with the headshot through the wall on the first, but Sonic, again, the multi-kill situation's incredibly poised. We saw a bit of that on Ancient with that little bit of a mid-donut angle onto the players jumping up on the Snake, but even more exemplary there. And a double man advantage for Wildcard. Fozzy up on Catwalk. Takes the shot, but he's blind and shoots a little bit too late. Rush and Junior mollied off. They'll toss more utility in. Does not look promising for Nouns here. They're going to have to rely on a miracle individually.
Yes, they are. Boost up over the smoke appears to be their call out of desperation. Junior's the one here. He's spotted, though, by the player's sight, who then pops up. Fozzy wins the Opera's duel off of the information. The next on Catwalk should not last long either. Timing, however, gives Rush 1 and 2. The third on site, though, surely not expected. Stanislaw blindsides them both. We find CJ off the tail end of that spray as they line up 6-2. Again, 3 surviving as well. Slowly builds that CT economy. Wildcard looking very solid. And Nouns, as you mentioned, looking a little bit scared, a little bit lost, and very readable on this T side.
Very one-dimensional. And that's not something we normally say about Nouns, historically. Just looks like they're running out of ideas, ramming their heads against the wall. Not able to find anything successful consistently. Pistols again for the T side. Carson on a hero AK. TJ already removed. Junior's Deagle does drop Sonic. At least there's that for Nouns. Opening up a gun to be picked up on middle. And a little bit more space. Fozzy's going in against the pistols with the op, and he's just going to get met with a Tech 9 headshot. I don't know if he shot on his own screen or if he shot in the actual game, but either way, there was no way he was getting that kill. Leaving a lot onto Susp's shoulders. Again, Susp still playing from Sweden. having to try to fight his way out of this. Nouns' third round may also be gained by virtue of a pistol. And I think it's going to be locked in here pretty quickly. JBA and Stanislaw contemplating this retake. A kill would go a long way to spurring them forward, but overall I think it's going to be a save here. It should be now that JBA gets domed.
Yeah, it's going to be a save. Stanislaw has no utility. He's down 1v4. There's not a lot of money either. I thought it'd be more bountiful for Wildcard than it is. Stanislaw. Looking for an opportunity to go in. He could. No. Carson doubles back in the nick of time. There was a brief window where Stanislaw could have found something there. But it's not meant to be. 3-6, as you mentioned, 2 rounds now for Nouns coming off the back of pistols. It's an interesting stat line. That helps their economy again, gives them a lifeline, a much needed one at that. Because as you mentioned, their T side is their favorite side, and at this case, or at this point, their best hope is a 6-6 tie ball game.
Tie ball game, a good storyline for Nouns, a good comeback, but for Wildcard, a bit of a slide, you would say. Still 3 rounds to go, the anti-penultimate round of the half being played right now. And another slower, more trepidatious gun round from Nouns. It seems that when they play aggressive and fast, it works out better for them. But with the rifles in hand, too afraid to do that. This cat pressure also very strong for Wildcard here. 3 up are revealed with the Mac, the MP9 rather, does so much damage to both the Tunnels players. Almost taking down the op and the rifle too. The flashbang and the Molotov forcing these players away. But after all of that damage on a 1-mag spray down by the MP9 of Stan, Nouns are far worse for wear on that initial engagement. And Susp will not even have... Oh, he'll have a bit of an angle. Stanislaw goes 1 for 1, but JBA's Deagle out long will drop the AK. That's a gun upgrade for him. And Nouns again behind the 8-ball in this round, significantly more so after that kill from Sonic, who almost shoots his teammate at Car, just shooting everything that moves. And now Nouns trying to take over the B side. Flash, Molotov's going through, Rush with 1, but Sonic's still here to lock things down. He'll double up. 3 on the round, 16-3 on the half. Wildcard with 7. Nouns again trying to buy whatever they can. Most of the team good, only CJ hurting for money, but the half secured for the CT side.
Double op also picked up for Wildcard. Sonic is truly transcending to raid boss status.
More kills than his next 2 teammates combined.
16-3, 150 dar.
That's
during the tail end.
Dar.
An insane amount of damage. It's been quite the set of games for him today. He will op middle. Rush as well has an op in hand. I think it was dropped for a timing of spawn-based peek, and it pays off in the early goings. JBA, that menace towards the long last round, will be held now with no damage done. Rush doubles down, this time with the rifle, and Fozy towards Car is stuck in a corner while only doing damage through the wall. No outright kills to be spoken of as of yet. Sonic, the double op support. Junior wins the first Opera's duel, and the flash stymies Sonic's chances in that one. He'll fall back, get up on site. But a 2v5 seems like a very tall order, especially with the Opera's duel lost as it was. Susp, the B player in a 1v5, going to try and survive in this round 11, but Nouns might be tempted to hunt him down.
Bomb has been planted.
Nouns swap up the pace, they go fast, and it works. Spawn-based peek from Rush snowballs into a couple of more kills, and then once the players start falling, it becomes more and more difficult for Wildcard to hold the line. The bomb ticking down to 20 seconds, it'll go off momentarily, and Susp should be fine to survive here. We'll expect something fast again from Nouns, at least I will, into the next round, as they look for 5. 5 would be big for them. Keeps them within striking distance. It does not allow Wildcard to take a commanding lead by virtue of a pistol round victory. For Nouns, aside from their early streak on Ancient, they have been playing down. It was 4-1 for Nouns. That was the last time they led. The last time they had any semblance of consistent momentum. couple scrappy rounds to stay alive at the tail end of Ancient. But it's been a pretty bleak series for the Nouns so far, and the crosses coming through. The double swing tags from both, but Fozzy's scout doing far less than the duel of the off of Junior. Still, it's a scrappy round to the final for Wildcard with a lack of money here. 5-7, Deagle, MP9, M4, and Scout. Already mentioned Sonic's in lower tunnel, but George deals with one of those players up on Catwalk. Stan trades it back. AK upgrade for the in-game leader of Wildcard. But another faster-paced round from Nouns if they don't dilly-dally out long, which doesn't seem like they will. Flash goes in, tag from Fozzy, but the bag is there for Junior. And it's going to be a difficult hold for Susps M4, soloing up on the ace side.
Top the smoke though, he's fearless. He'll find one. Support is here as well. The Oppo Junior strikes from range, but we're still only in even footing for this T side. It's far from over. Carson on site gets one. Stan in the smoke is playing off timing. And as it fades, he'll spot one. He'll get the first. Can he get the second? The Oppo Junior to 1v1. Tech 9 out of desperation. He'll cross into the site in the chaos, but on 2 HP. Can he pull off the clutch? Walking in, he cannot. Stanislav steals the round. It's an 8-4 half. We'll see you after the break.
It's another 8-4 half in favor of Wildcard going into the T side for them. This time on Dust 2. I'm Boggs. My partner, as always, Pineapple Phillips. North American ECL action here. A bit of a Monday night matchup here. Nouns struggling to get anything consistent against this Wildcard roster. Dual Berettas for George. CJ has a kit and a smoke. Rush has a pair of flashbangs. Junior has contact, but not damage or a kill. And Nate, it seems that the cat run from Wildcard is going to force Junior away. CJ still on site, but he is flashing off. Opportunity here for Wildcard, but CJ's able to pop one at least. Junior coming through for a second. CJ one of his own, another this time. And Stanislaw 1 for 1. It's 4 alive for Nouns as a flurry of frags comes through. And they clean up a very important pistol round going their way if they want to split this series at 1-1.
A must-win pistol, I would say. And they do pass that test at least. Wildcard again going for something aggressive on their T-pistol. We saw it on Ancient when they ran through red. This time they go up catwalk. The issue is once they get through that smoke, it's a firing line waiting for them. They did not miss. Nouns Esports crew. 5-8 trailing by 3. So we talked about the green room box. We've not seen much from Nouns to really make us excited. Half of their rounds at the half came from pistol rounds. They have to start winning rounds more convincingly like this. Granted, this was against pistols. Still 5 surviving, 3 for Junior, 2 for Rush on the SMGs. Builds up their CT economy massively. Of course, keeps their bonus solid for round number 15. This is their first real test, though. Wildcard are going to get rifles out. Fozy won't have an AWP, but he'll have an AK, and I think he might be better placed on that weapon as well. Have to contend with Sonic, who, again, has been having a raid boss level performance on Dust 2.
Yeah, Sonic's been carrying his team. Junior again as well, top of the scoreboard for Nouns, though. 16-9 now. Rush is helping him out. Somebody needed to step up and help Junior. Rush has joined that party and taken up that role. Wildcard now beginning to work on their T side. Their first gun round. What will they have to show us? Sus will miss the Molotov there, and I don't think that's a ping issue. It's just a slight issue on the lineup. Slower round from Wildcard. They're hoping for aggression from Nouns, which is not been granted. Flashes in. Utility to stall on Cat now by George. The time dwindling away. And I think with that smoke from Wildcard, they're going to use that as a bit of a fake and try to audible this out middle. Another smoke being used towards A, but there's nobody long for that CT smoke to help. Unless they go mid to B. There's 3 players on the B side too, and Wildcard now showing a bit of indecision themselves. Stanislaw drops into CT spawn. The mid split is on. And George is going to relay this information to his B teammates. Junior already in window, ready for it. Drops the smoke, drops off the angle. And CJ from Car has 1 and maybe 2. He will grab the second. Rush chimes in. The gun shows and Junior capitalizes. Stanislaw 1 for 1. And a confident gun round goes to Nouns on the CT side. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered for them, Nate, as they silence Wildcard on the first real test of this second half.
Silence Wildcard. It seemed like they had the read trying to play the SMG, so their strengths in towards B. It pays off in a big way with 4 surviving, and of course, upgrades galore. 4 AKs being recovered. No op present for Junior, but he's more than ready with the AK instead, and he knows that Wildcard are going to be on a poor buy, so he wants the rifle for the follow-up shots instead. Tech 9s, a P250, and a Glock for Wildcard. Fozy, who was the star of map 1, has been silent in map number 2. George starting things off quickly with the on the IGL. It's going to be a straight play out B. The flashes are good, but Carson has a line of stuff 2. Rush is here to support. 2 for him as well. Clean and flawless. Another convincing win for Nouns as they tie us up quickly at 8 apiece.
That's another flawless anti-pistol from Nouns as well. And on the CT side, it's incredibly critical to win your anti-pistol, your anti-force spy rounds without losing players. Nouns still haven't even gotten the op out for Junior yet. They're just farming with the rifles. They're not going to drop one of these rifles and get Junior on the op. They're going to rely on the rifles to win them rounds. And Rush will sneak into lower tunnels, which is a very nice power position to have this early. CJ forced off long. Now, Wildcard rather, are defaulting out that direction. 1 in Sus up towards upper tunnels. He's got 1 and almost a second too. Carson down to 10 HP. That's the first bit of bonus that we've seen from Wildcard on this T side. It's actually thrown this Nouns CT side into confusion and chaos. Unless Sus gets caught on rotation by CJ. In which case the whole jig is up, which it seems to be anyways. All the rotations are coming through. And I think that Sus has been sussed out. They've heard him. Retake set up here on the A site, though, for Nouns, and Sonic's going to go over top of that anyways. Rush has one from the jump. He only gets the one. CJ backstabbing. Not able to get more just yet. The smoke fades, and a combined 27 HP in this round. That nade perfect onto Fozy. That opens the door for this to work out, but CJ and Carson have to click heads if this is going to work. The flash is going to reveal Carson's position. JBA, it's a freebie, and now CJ has to save.
CJ does indeed have to. Still gonna stick around for exits though. He knows that off is lightning down. Car, excuse me, not Cat. So he'll try to hold that angle. The issue is Stanislaw has more HP. CJ is just one shot away from death. Op recovered by Stanislaw. Still an expensive round for this T side, but they do finally get one on the board at least. Nouns, though, can easily dip into their coffers and reinvest as well. 2 A4s. You'll love to see it for Carson and George. Op for Junior makes sense. Wildcard struggling with a Mac 10 on Sus.
Oh, there's the win for Junior on the upper peak out towards long A. Susp is taken down by Rush as well. Now they're kicking off this gun round quite well. No scope by Junior, but here comes Stanislaw. He'll spray down 2 through that smoke. Fozy, another one out middle, leaving it all up to George. And just like that, all the aggression taken care of by the T's. George up long. What does he expect? Fozy? No. Fozy going back to the rifle here. Again in these clutch situations, these 2v2s, these 2v1s, securing the kill with the rifle rather than the op, picking it up later, showing a great amount of poise and confidence in his capabilities with the automatic weapons. That's a very heads-up play, and a very clutch one at that. If he has the op, does he take that fight as confidently? No. Is he there for that trade in that kind of a manner? No. It's a very big play, a very smart play. And it forces a timeout out of Nouns now, who see this map beginning to slip out of their hands again as Wildcard get double digits first.
Here's the thing, Nouns are talking this round out. They know that they're on the cusp of being broken. Wildcard, though, are throwing a spanner into the works immediately. I can tell you that just looking at the map. Look at the spawn that they have. They all 5. I think this is the best possible B spawn. This is going to be a rush. It's got to be a rush with those Mac 10s at the helm. 3 players lacking helmets as well for Nouns. It means those Mac 10s can really do a lot of damage. And if they can get out that choke point, it's going to be a bloodbath. 10-8 Wildcard winning here would likely seal the map, as you mentioned. Here comes a play towards B. An early smoke from spawn. I believe that's for the lurk out. It is. Carson will throw a Molotov, but they're going to run through it. Carson tested early. George the support finds 2. JBA a trade, but is Carson expected here? The answer is no. He's slipped in through the smoke. He should have at least 1. There it is. A kill secured, although trade immediately from JBA. 2 versus 3. And Fozy has a very unwieldy op in hand. Grab the bomb.
And the AK.
AK as well is actually a big deal, but the double flank towards tunnels might be enough. Especially because the bomb hasn't been planted yet. Fozy's the smoke, timing's everything. Rush finds the first, spots the second. JBA gets a trade, but on low HP, it's not feasible. He's caught. Good trade from CJ. And I like the idea from Wildcard. I like the gumption and the call. But George, with the nade on the smoke, was more than ready to rebuke the take.
It all starts with that double from George and helps stabilize Nouns in the round. Massive multi-kill from him. And that's George's role these days, support and anchor. And the fact that he was a star fragger at one point means that his anchor capabilities are very good. He has the ability to step up if required. The thing is, with a roster consisting of Junior and Rush and Carson and CJ, he isn't exactly called upon all that often to step up individually like that. But speaking of Carson, he only goes 1-for-1 out long. CJ right there for that trade, but it's a messy duel against Susp, which sees CJ down below half his health, just actually under a third of his health. But George is anchoring B all alone. The confidence this team puts in him to hold down the line. No utility for George. The nade to blow open the smoke. Rush now moving up with it, but George pre-sprays this and he softens them up for Rush, who's only able to get 1. Somehow Fozy's still alive on 15 HP. The bomb gets planted, and it's a 2v2 hold on the B side. That nade would be critical if Fozy wasn't up in tunnels. Now it doesn't really affect too much to blow that smoke down at B doors, but Fosie's thinking about a flank here through middle. That's a nice little idea. Very effective play if he can spring his timing right. And he's just about done it. Plays for both. One, not the second. 1 for 1 now. Stanislaw versus Junior. Top on both teams up against each other. And it's Stanislaw around the big box to spot Junior in window. Keep Wildcard ahead by a hair. The in-game leader for Wildcard. Stepping up big time. He's taken over Sonic's status at the top.
Yeah, Sonic's, I think, had 1 kill this half. He's been effectively stalled. But that was a round with tremendous implication. Nouns did not have money to fall back on. They do not have anything to fall back on now. They lose all 5. They're going to go all in. It is penultimate map point for Wildcard at this stage, and Junior feels the pressure. They aren't going all in. They're just going for a buy, much like they did in round 2 of this game, with Junior buying a scout and everyone full saving. Don't hate the idea, but they're really going to need to hit the shots, and they're going to need a 3rd pistol round in this map in order to come back into this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 3 in a row that Nouns are going to require here to at least take it to overtime. This round doesn't seem to be bearing any fruit. Junior will probably not contest anything at all since he has the scout. So the bomb's about to go down on A. Spotted. No kills just yet. Sonic takes a little bit of chip. And so CJ will get smoked off anyways. Junior gets 1 onto Fozy. That's nice at least. But he'll get traded out by Stanislaw. It's not like it really mattered in the first place because the retake was almost impossible anyways. Going to be a 12 for Wildcard. Just how much damage can Nouns do is the real question, because the Wildcard money's economy is not great.
After weapons, there's a player in under top mid who's alone. It's sus. If they can find that kill, it would be huge. Stanislaw dink down to 16. They're going to try to rush down this off. JBA, they're holding the line. Only good for 1. Sonic trades. And CJ goes down with the ship. Carson will save that scout, as you mentioned. No weapons picked up, and not a lot of damage done, all things considered. I also want to note Stanislaw, the IGL, and also the top frag currently, went for a Tech 9 in the last round to make sure his teammates were better served.
So
He's
you're
still
saying
success.
He did not pull the Zeus play and leave Simple on a Deagle?
Correct. Much more selfless.
Are you trying to say that IGL should not hold on to the firepower for the rest of the team, be a selfless player? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Nate?
Correct. Although I could see Stanislaw justifying it because of his form right now.
But the fact that he doesn't just goes to show what kind of a leader he is.
Yep.
And that's the kind of leader you want. Not just in the game, but in life, too. Life lessons with Stanislaw. And if you want to be a leader out there in chat, in North America or EU, whatever you're watching from, take notes.
Selfless leader. Spray from George on catwalk drops Sonic again. He's been bullied in the second half. Susp is trying to find something down the middle. All in close. Clearing it out. Fozy's going to be the spear point towards B. Carson is spotting from backside. He got the info. He'll throw in a flash to buy time. Rush is now in position as well. Good tag onto Carson, who's burning alive. Fozy finishes in. Susp as well drops Junior. And Rush at Car on B fares no better. This B site cracked wide open. It looked like it was closed for business, but Wildcard stroll right in and make it look easy. Susp finds George. The last is CJ. Walking out middle, he can't even find one. Sus, one of the new duo, find a pair in close. Wildcard close out both best of ones in the evening in their favor.
Yeah, 13-8 on Ancient, although I think Dust 2 was a considerably closer map overall than the first was. Even though the first ended 13-8, 13-9, it could have gone either way, especially towards the tail end. Wildcard were able to pick it up. But there were moments where things got shaky for them on Dust 2, where Nouns could have picked something up, a couple of clutches going their way, that Stanislaw kill onto JBA, or onto Junior rather, up in window. That completely changes the entire map. That right there swings things into Wildcard's favor for that last little push they need to get it over the line. A very good performance from Wildcard overall, though. And keep in mind, Susp is still on EU ping, too. He's not continental just yet. And if he does get, well, when he does, not if, but when, Wildcard will become an exponentially more difficult team to play, and they already look very solid.
They look very solid. My expectations have been exceeded. I think it's safe to say. Wildcard as well gave Nouns some opportunities. That second map was close, but keep in mind, was it 2, if not maybe even 3 pistol? No, it was 2 pistol rounds, 2 eco rounds.
Half. Yep.
In the first half, won by Nouns, and they still only make 4 rounds out of it. That is a crazy stat line and tells you just how much better Wildcard look on the rifles.
Yeah, and it comes back to Ancient too. Nouns won 1 actual gun round against Wildcard on that first half of Ancient. The rest was pistol and the ensuing 2. Just Wildcard dominating on the guns. But that's going to wrap things up for us tonight, folks. We still have more ECL action coming at you tomorrow. But on behalf of Pineapple Phillips and the production crew here at ESL, I'm Boggs, wishing you all a very good night. We'll see you again, same place, same time tomorrow. Good night.